Hello, everybody. As we're wrapping up the weekend, I wanted to jump on here on a Facebook Live and give you a full recap of what just went down in Arkansas sports through baseball, track and field, and just wrap everything up. I see we have a bunch of people in here. I'm Nick Petraccione. We're live in the Pig Trail studios. We have a lot to talk about. It's actually going to be, you guys are wrapping up your weekend. It's actually me starting mine. So, it's going to be nice for me to have a little bit of a weekend, but what a way to round things out for Arkansas, taking down number 4 Tennessee in the rubber match today, 3-2. Now, there was something that you could see in this little description that we have on here that things got a little chippy between Dave Van Horn and Tony Vitello after the game. The two coaches really going at it in a little bit of a shouting match. If you were watching that one, they kind of got in each other's faces a little bit. We'll go over kind of what was said. We actually have some of that what was said on our website right now. Let me know, what did you think of the series? Game 1 to game 3. How did you guys think it played out for Arkansas? Arkansas track, we can't forget, sweeping the SEC championships. That means they've won the Triple Crowns on the men's and women's side, outdoor, indoor, cross-country championships. You don't get tired of winning, right? I want to see everybody in here. I see Rick, Barry, Cindy, Charles, Santa Darren. He's always in here. Thank you for joining us again. That's a name I always see pop up. Robert joining us. Where are you guys tuning in from? Daniel from Clarksville. Tommy, the top fan, Tommy. I appreciate everybody joining in. Yeah, let me guys know. Have a little conversation with yourselves. What did you think of this Tennessee series? How did Arkansas play? What did you think of throwing Jackson Wiggins in that 9th inning of game 2 when Tennessee walked it off? Let me know in the comments just what you think, and we'll have a little bit of a discussion about it. I see so many people. Joe Murray says, I 100% believe Dave Van Horn was PO'd, we'll put it there, from Tennessee's players and coaches yelling toward the Arkansas dugout after the walk-off home run. Yeah, the Tennessee players were jawing a little bit that whole series. They were pretty, tensions get high in games. Let me move a little more this way to center myself in the camera. Tensions get high. That was a heated series. 1 versus 4. Knoxville was at 100%. You saw, unlike the LSU series, these Tennessee fans came out to play. So I just think a lot of the time in the heat of the moment, those things are going to happen. But they were really amped up, and I think if it was Arkansas on the other end, you'd be amped up too. It was just a lot of emotion and 3 days building up into that one moment. I'm sorry if I'm missing everyone coming in here. I see we have a bunch of viewers. We got Randy, Wynn from Fort Lauderdale, Rob, Twyla, Susan, Doug, Sean. I'll catch up with all you guys later. I see so many people tuning in. A couple from Texas. Daniel saying our pitching was excellent. And you know who was excellent in that was Kevin Kopps, pitching a total of 6 2/3 innings, I believe it was, throwing a little more than 110 pitches, if I remember off the top of my head. And he was lights out. You know what was the rare thing was seeing Kevin Kopps have an earned run against him. Just his 5th on the year, and I think in like 25 appearances. He's now 9-0. Randy, Whoopig Sweet from New York. Randy, let me know where you're from. I'm from New York. You're the first East Coast New Yorker, at least I know, other than my mother, who tunes into these. Where are you tuning in from, Randy? Good to see you, New Yorker. I know some people give me a little bit of poke fun a little bit in good fun at my accent, because I think I do have one for some people. So Randy, it might just be just at home for you the way I talk. Brianna coming in here. Farrell, Mark, Martin, a top fan. Thank you for joining us. Les, a top fan as well. I love seeing our top fans in there. You can see the little badges by their name. You get that just by interacting on these streams, liking our stuff, and you get yourself a little top fan badge interacting with the other people in the comments section. I see so many of you guys. This is so cool. 350 viewers right now, it looks like. This is the most I've experienced. Maybe we're going to do this more on Sundays. This is the first Sunday I tune in. Usually, like I said, this is my Friday. So after we do a lot of filming, I like to kind of, I'm tired at the end of a work week, but I think, maybe we'll do this more on Sundays if this is a great time for you and just recap the weekend. But yes, 3-2, they knock off Tennessee. Now, I want to get to this Dave Van Horn stuff because I think I see a lot of people like Richard saying, Dave said, who's your daddy? I don't know about that. I think losers tend to jaw when they get their butts kicked. Mark says, oh my gosh, you guys are ruthless in these comments. Cortland, says Randy. Cortland, that's awesome. I went to Syracuse University, not too far down the road. See, there's emotion on either side, and even just seeing in these comments from you guys. Leland, thank you for tuning in. Leland's here every single day almost. Shout out to Leland. Thank you for joining in. Barry, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us, Barry. I appreciate you on here. The one thing, and you can see just in these comments when you guys are reading and talking, I love seeing this, but you see the emotion you guys have in this series, and in a lot of, we were just watching from home or watching from, a restaurant. To be there and to have that emotion just at the stadium, you could only imagine with the tensions that were gone through those 3 days, because every single game was intense. I mean, let's go back to game one. I'm just pulling up my little stats up here, but that was a 6-5 win. Right? Game two, 8-7. That was a walk-off at the bottom of the ninth. 3-2. Every single game decided by one run. That's one, as a fan, that's just what you love to see, right? You love to see a series like this. This is exactly what we wanted it to be and exactly what it lived up to. Sure, you would like to sweep the Volunteers, right? They haven't done that since 2012. That was actually one of our trivia questions on Thursdays. For everyone who joins in on Thursdays, I like to make up trivia question and test all your knowledge about how good a Razorback fans we have here on our streams. So one of our trivia questions was, when was the last time Arkansas swept Tennessee in Knoxville? And it was 2012. Let's get to some questions. I see so many people joining in. I'm sorry if I'm missing a lot of your names. Charlie has any video of the in-your-face chats by DVH and the Tennessee coach? So, Charlie, if you're referring to like the video on SEC Network, like the game broadcast, that can't be posted online just per broadcasting rules. But we do have Dave Van Horn's reaction to that. He was asked in the media conference, the post-game presser, to that, and that's on our website right now. We also have Tony Vitello, who, and I'll run through just right now of what they said in paraphrasing. Dave Van Horn said, look, Tony's a really great guy and a really great coach. Let me say that first and foremost. He didn't give an answer of what it was. He said it could have been about recruiting. It could have been about the game. You pick either one of those, and it kind of like an artist, right? Like I'll tell you what I see, and then you just make your own interpretation of it. So he said, what was said between me and Tony stays between me and Tony. So I guess we'll never know. And in Vitello's press conference, we heard from him that said, I said something that was probably kind of outside of the game that in the time wasn't right to say. If I remember, I'm paraphrasing here. That is up, and I believe we had that on our social medias, or if not, we'll get it on there or point you guys in the right direction. But I did see that Vitello, and we're actually going to run this Vitello soundbite in our Pig Trail show, 9:30. You can hear from Dave Van Horn and Tony Vitello, 9:30 on our Pig Trail show, 30 minutes of sports. We're going to cover everything that we're covering here. You can hear from those two guys, but in paraphrasing, it seems like Vitello said, I shouldn't have shared, I won't share too much. It's probably a little more than I should, but he said, I might have overstepped a little bit into what I said. But again, those guys, utmost respect. We heard earlier in the week from Tony Vitello, that the only reason he's sitting in that Tennessee head coaching job, he said he owes it to Dave Van Horn and to Arkansas for giving him a chance into the SEC, for letting him play in what he calls the men's league. So, those tensions get high, but I think you step back, and after a day or so, those things will be settled out. I'm sure there will be a phone call. I'm sure there will be that this isn't, going to be the most blown out thing that's going to ruin a relationship like that. Those guys were on good terms, and it seems they both understand that was just the heat of the moment. Yeah, Mark saying Van Horn said to Bob Holt that they had no hot water. Yeah, it seems like it's just going to be, that's the intensity of the game. That's what you get when you get a top five clash, right? Guys, there's so many comments. Thank you everyone for joining in. I give you guys so much of a shout out because I love coming on here with you guys and just talking. This is the most we've had in a while. So I'm sorry if I'm missing a lot of your comments. Usually I have enough to just read everybody's and say hello to everybody, but there's so many people on here that I might not be able to get to everybody, but Sean says, woo pig suey from Arizona. Barry saying on to Florida. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Let's see if we can find some more people in here. Rob, Bobby, a top fan. Jonathan is in here. Kevin from Jacksonville. Corey from Augusta. Thank you, everybody. Robert, all the way from Florida. Thank you for tuning in, everyone, and joining us. Again, we're going to recap some things. The one thing I want to touch on next is exactly what Barry said. On to Florida and on to 100% capacity at Baum-Walker Stadium. Let me see if I get the hand right. There it is. This right here, I always forget it's mirrored, and I'm working on it like a weather guy. I give our weather guys so much credit because they are so good at pointing these things out when they work on a green screen, secrets of TV. So let's Anita says, let's go eat some gator. Never had it. Heard it's actually good. Hunter Yurachek sent out this tweet earlier this week saying 100% capacity opened up for the Florida series. Remember, this is the last home series, last SEC regular season series for the Hogs. 100% capacity available at Baum-Walker Stadium for all 3 games. That's huge. And one thing I was talking to our guys right after our 5 o'clock shows was just what this means to the seniors. A year ago, did we ever think we'd see a full Baum-Walker Stadium? I mean, there's going to be some weather, but 10,737 people could be coming to Baum-Walker Stadium, are allowed to go to Baum-Walker Stadium for this upcoming series against Florida. And I think that for those seniors, that is such a cool thing, because I don't think they thought that they were going to see Baum-Walker Stadium in true Baum-Walker Stadium fashion with the Arkansas faithful there again, at least before their career. CV Donaldson says, who won today? CV, Arkansas winning 3-2 to take the series 2-1. So they are 9-0 in SEC series. They haven't lost a single one as they enter in this another big clash with a top 10 team in Florida. Twyla, I remember Twyla. How you doing? Thank you for coming back in and enjoying this Sunday with us. Debbie saying the Hogs win. Yes, Woo Pig Suey. I see a lot of WPSs in the chat. Barry says, are we going to need these close game experience when we get to tournament play? Oh, we are going to need them. I thought it was a question. I was going to say, of course you're going to need them. Yes, that's a huge thing. I mean, this team all season has just found ways to win. And this is nothing new. I mean, I feel like that's the first season all the way back when you were facing Texas Tech in Texas in that very first season. What was the very first game of the year they were in a very close game? Or was it the second? No, yeah, the very first game of the year against Texas Tech when the Red Raiders were ranked number 3 in the nation. There was a 13-9 game, but do you remember that? They were down and they fought all their way back. I mean, from first game of the year against Texas Tech to this game now, it feels like this Hogs team just finds a way to win, and that's huge. I mean, you're 9-0 in the SEC series. That's hard to achieve. I mean, this is a team that's now at 39 overall wins. One more gets them 40. And they still have regionals and stuff to play. So many people. Dwayne, thank you for joining us. He's here every single day. Big shout out to Dwayne. Thank you for tuning in. Randy, Mike, Daniel, Netta, Ed from Hot Springs. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. So just one thing I want to get to before we continue our little our chat about Razorback baseball. Make sure to download our Hogville app, available on Androids and your Apple devices, free. All our stories that we do there, all the interviews that we have, the post-game press conferences we post, those are on hogville.net, and you can also find them on nwahomepage.com. Let's pull those up for you right now. I'll show you this. This is our website right now. You can see we have some of our stories up, our Triple Crowns over here from our track team, but also, hey, look at this. Well, there's Dave Van Horn speaking about the walk-off loss, and then we'll also have, I'm sure it'll pop up soon, is going to be, here's one right here. What happened between, if you can see on the side of your screen, I know you can't see my mouse, but just see the highlights right here. What happened between DVH and Tony Vitello right on our Twitter. we actually have the sound bite available to view between DVH and what exactly went down. If you don't have Twitter, if you want to see what he said, 9:30 on our Pig Trail show, we're going to break down exactly what Tony Vitello said and what Dave Van Horn said. And I think that stuff will be hashed out for you guys. So that's my Facebook stream and all of you guys. So let's go. Man, I'm clicking the wrong buttons today. Let's go back to a live full cam. Just get back on camera. Thank you, Virginia, for joining us. Leroy, I hope I'm saying that right. Kyle, Dwayne saying bring on the Gators. For those just joining us, because I see we have about 250 or so people, this was the score, 3-2. Arkansas defeating Tennessee in their rubber match. Arkansas winning the series 2-1, and that moves them into 9-0. In SEC play. Obviously, Tennessee was the other team in the big division in SEC, the top team. It was a battle between East and West, the #1 teams there. Vandy dropping their series today. They dropped down to #3 in the SEC. So there's some other good news, I guess, for Arkansas fans to get a little. I know that it's been them and Vandy a lot. So I see a lot of people saying about these games being televised. Here's the good thing. I know every time we come on here, it's always about these games. I always say these games are on SEC Network Plus. It's always on Plus. It's always on the internet. It's never on national television. Well, I think they heard all you guys saying you want a couple national television games for Florida, because the first 2 games of this series, so the 20th, Thursday the 20th, and the 21st, are on SEC Network. First game at 6 p.m. Central. Second game against Florida at 7. Both of them on the SEC Network. Game 3 will be on Plus. So we're getting 2 national games to this upcoming week against Florida. Baumwalker Stadium, 100% capacity, announced by Athletic Director Hunter Yurachek. So it's going to be a really exciting series. A couple Anthony's tuning in. Don't forget Mississippi State losing today. Did they? I haven't checked that score. I've been zoned in on this one right here. They lost. That shakes up the standings. Daniel's saying that too. Can't believe Missouri won the series against Mississippi State. You guys are breaking news to me. Wow. Missouri beat Mississippi State. That's a big series win. You never know what's going to happen in the SEC, especially way down the stretch. Here's one thought. I got a lot of people in here. And I want to ask you this question about Game 2. What did you think about Dave Van Horn putting Jackson Wiggins in that 9th inning of Game 2? When, and I know it's painful to talk about, when Tennessee walked it off. What did you think about that Wiggins play? He's a freshman. It's a big game for him. That was a big moment to be in, and it was a hard loss and a hard lesson learned. But what did you guys think? Our Mike Irwin wrote a column about this. How you doing, Curtis? Thank you for joining us. Our Mike Irwin wrote a comment about this Wiggins decision. You can go read it right now on our website. But what did you guys think about that series, or that decision in this series? 9th inning, obviously Max Ferguson hitting that 3-run shot. I would love to hear your thoughts, because it's tough. I mean, you're a freshman going in. I could not imagine the pressure of that going into that series. Anthony saying it'll pay dividends down the road. That's an experience you're not going to forget. You're not going to want to relive again, right? That was Carrie saying a great big mistake. Yeah, our Mike Irwin was not happy about that decision either. I think a lot of people were saying it was a tough call to make. And Dave Van Horn said after that game that Wiggins was our guy. 9th inning, that was who we were going to. Cops was not available for Game 2. Remember, he pitched 66 pitches the game before, and he pitched 3 innings, so Cops wasn't even on the board for them. But CV also agreeing that it was a kind of a shaky decision. Mike saying Wiggins needs the experience. Anthony, like I said, yeah, Cops wasn't even available, but it was if it went one batter longer, you could have seen Zebulon Vermillion. I think Van Horn said after that game, if I'm remembering that correctly, that was just the one batter that, it's almost like the straw that broke the camel's back. You wish you had one more straw, and you wish you had one more shot. But again, putting Wiggins in, Rob says, was a bad call. But if he would have struck them out, it would have been brilliant. I mean, look at the who is it? Webb, who led off that game in Game 2, because that was a decision that was brilliant. Let me check. Yeah, it was Braden Webb leading off in game 2. Van Horn decided to sub him in that game, and he went 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs. I mean, there's a brilliant decision. You're going, oh my gosh, usually Zach Gregory leading off, but you put Webb in and he makes an amazing play. Those decisions make a coach look good. 1 or 2 pitches can totally turn the whole thing on its head. I see a lot of people. I knew this would get a lot of people going because it was such a big decision. And let me step back and say this: Dave Van Horn is going to know about baseball more than I ever will in my entire life. So you trust a Hall of Fame coach's decision and what he does. And hindsight's always 20/20. It's hard to put a freshman in there, but yeah, like one of you said, if he struck him out, wow, that would have been a whole different ball game. That hit right before then, that kind of bloop single that even the batter didn't know that it was in fair play. What if you had that guy out? Now if he hits a home run, it's not a game winner. Now you're tied up. There's so many little factors, right, that add up to it. Think back, Alan says, think back, didn't Wiggins come in and strike out the side against Texas or Texas Tech? He's been used as a closer, and he's closed out some big games. Yes, I can pull that up for you, and one of those he was, but he has been in closing situations against big teams and has done very well. I can't remember back. It seems like lifetimes ago, February 20th. I'm sorry if I'm looking over this way. He wasn't in any of those 2 games in Texas. I'll have to dive back. That's a good question. I'm going to look at those stats. He wasn't in the Texas Tech or Texas game from what I just looked at. But it's a learning experience. Why take Costiou out? He was pitching fine. I think the plan was to have him face like 4 hitters. So I think that was kind of the use it, and now he's done after 4. I think that was always the plan for him. Carl says you can't win them all. No, but you can win every series apparently. 9-0 as they take this one 3-2. That's if you can't win them all, at least you got to win. You can't win battles, but you better win wars. Anthony saying that loss felt like the OSU loss that we had and let it get away. But, you got to be riding high now. Dwayne saying, hey, Nick, make sure to let everyone know that all 3 games versus Florida will be on the SEC network. From what I'm seeing, Dwayne, and unless they changed it to 3, they have it listed on their official website that the 3rd game is on SEC Network Plus. I will follow up with that and let you guys know if that 3rd game is going to be on SEC Network. I remember them sending a release about how they're going to make more of these games nationally for this series. But I will check if that's a 3 game. For right now, the Athletic website says it's just 2 on SEC Network, but I'll follow up with that for sure. Thank you guys so much. Okay. I want to talk about a couple things. We're going pretty long, and I love it because there's so many of you guys in here. I'm going to do these more often on Sunday because this seems like the best time for you guys, right? Sunday kind of at night when you guys are kind of winding down. We'll do some of these weekend recaps. I think that sounds pretty good. I want to talk about one thing, though, and that's a new coaching hire. The big story, if my little board will let me click. There we go. Arkansas obviously hiring Keith Smart. I'm sure everyone by now in this comment section knows it. 3-time NBA head coach joining Musselman at the Golden State Warriors. 20-plus years of professional experience. Has been to an NBA Finals. He hit the 1987 The Shot in that NCAA championship game, Indiana versus my Syracuse Orange when I went to school. You can hear my thoughts about that at 9:30. I wasn't alive in 87, but I've watched that clip before, being a guy who went to Syracuse. I'm just happy the Orange have won one in 03 to help us get over that. But he hit the shot against Syracuse to win. I think that was the last Bob Knight championship at Indiana as well. So this is a great coach for them. We have a story coming up in our Pig Trail Report, 9:30. With Keith Smart, talking about his recruiting strategy, talking about how he was recruited to Arkansas by Nolan Richardson, and how he feels that this is just full circle for him and his humble beginnings. At this point, it's a beginning for him. He's done everything in the basketball world, from going to be from a JUCO player to an NCAA national championship, to being drafted, to being cut in the NBA, to playing overseas, coaching, being fired as a coach. This guy is at every single step of the way in terms of what you can do in this basketball world, has not done some college. So this is going to be a new experience for him, and he's so humble. Just listening to him talk about how he's putting his ego aside. He said if you have an ego, he's coming in with a clean slate. You can't have an open mind, he says. I think he said blank canvas is the exact words. But he said you can't have an ego when you do kind of things like this. You just got to keep being a student of the game. He says he wants to learn from Musselman, calls him the blueprint of what he wants to do, being a college assistant, maybe one day coming down to be his own head coach. Tony, what about the SEC track Triple Crown sweep? Yes, we're going to get to that in just a second as we are wrapping this one up. Let me just do one thing right quick. Sorry, I see some comments we're going to have to remove. I got to police this. We have so many people in here. I got to police this. Yes, Triple Crown. How cool is that? Now, let's talk about dominance in college sports. Arkansas track, right? Winning Triple Crowns. And what, who wrote that comment? Tony is talking about is they've won the indoor, outdoor, and cross country SEC championships. The women, I think it's their 20th out of 21 SEC championships. They've won the last, the 16th Triple Crown for the men. It's an incredible reign of dominance. You don't get tired of winning. They beat number 2 Arkansas, taking down LSU on the women's side. You had a bunch of medalists. Yes, the 20th SEC title in the past 21 championships contested in cross-country, indoor, and outdoor track for the Razorback women's team. I'm reading that on our website right now. These stories you can check out, but this is so cool. And this was something in the weekend recap. I was watching the men's 5,000. These 2 titles came down to those last 2 races or 2 events. You had the 4x400 and the 5,000s. And there was a DQ in the men's 5,000 by an Alabama guy who finished second, bumped up a couple more Razorbacks. They didn't need the points to win, but they'll take them. It was really just tight throughout the whole way. And that last leg, those 5,000s for the men's and women's, really sealing. The Arkansas is known for some good distance, so really sealing their points. I think it was 127 for the women and like 139 points for the men if you're a scorer of track. Let me get back to your comments because I see so many of you guys chatting. Hello, Mark and Anthony and Carl. Virginia, top fan. What does a Triple Crown in track mean? If you were just tuning in, because I see you just sent that a second ago. We just covered it. Virginia, it is when you win the outdoor SEC championship for track and field, the indoor SEC championship for track and field, and you've won the cross-country conference crown. So that's where the Triple Crown comes into play, because a lot of these athletes, they run all 3. They run indoor and outdoor and then cross-country. So to win a Triple Crown, you must win all 3 of those conference championships, and that's exactly what the men and women did. They are 6 for 6 in cross country and track. So that is what a Triple Crown means. Great question, because I know it's confusing. Everyone thinks horse racing when they think of Triple Crown, but that is what the SEC Triple Crown is. I don't know if it's actually official or unofficial, but they've kept that for those stats for a long time. 16th for the men, 7th for the women. Harder gives very good, Lance Harder, Coach Bucknam, dynasty coaches inducted into any Hall of Fame you can kind of think of. They're there. Matthew Stone watching from Kansas. Thank you guys so much. I will just let you guys know as we're rounding down, almost going 30 minutes. This is one of our longest shows. We still have about 150 people in here. Last questions. If you have anything you want to talk about, I know you guys, I couldn't even keep up with all the comments that you guys were saying. There was just so many of you in here, and I loved every second of watching you guys talk. Donnie said, didn't the women win the indoor NCAA title? Yeah, right. It's tough. It's tough to stay on top for so long, but they have. They are just that dominant, Donnie. Yes, thank you for bringing that point up. And you know what? They're gonna try it for the outdoors. There's going to be some tough competition, but the one thing about Arkansas is maybe they don't have all the top finishers at every event, but their depth down the line is what really scores them, because you don't need to win the match or win the race to have them score points. You can score points in 4th place, 3rd place. You have all these Arkansas people finishing in the top 6, just getting points for their team. So yes, they won the NCAA indoor title. Now looking for outdoor championships, Donnie. It's going to be pretty cool to see. Any recruiting news for the men's b-ball and how the Hog women will get some good recruits? Oh, great question. Maybe there's some more news. We have Kevin McPherson, our Hogville insider. He's going to talk about that tonight on the Pig Trail Show. We'll also have his whole Hog Hoops recruiting report tonight on our website as well. So that's a great place to have some of those questions answered. For the women, they got a huge recruit, and I actually don't have the slide up for me on recall. I would love to pull it up for you, but Miriam Dowda from Bentonville has recruited or was signed this week to the Arkansas women's basketball team. A 5-star recruit, the #1 center in the country by ESPN, the number 13th recruit overall. She was originally signed with Baylor. If you just watched the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame enshrinement, their coach just got enshrined into the Hall of Fame. I should say former coach now, right? She left the program. She's kind of doing her own thing now. She made it clear she was not fired. She left on her own accord, but the Baylor coach is left, and that inspired Miriam Dowda to now say, all right, I got to look for other places. She was committed to Baylor and then opened back up and chose Mike Neighbors in Arkansas. So you got yourself a number 5 center. If you look at the women's basketball team, Anthony, they now have 3 incoming freshmen that are 5-star recruits, and one from Oregon State, a transfer that was a former 5-star recruit 2 years ago. So there is just huge implications for this program. And as we talked about a little earlier in the week, Chelsea Dungy and Destiny Slocum, they were also making their WNBA rosters in their debuts. I know Chelsea Dungy had her debut where she played like 2 minutes and hit a 3-pointer, a step-back 3. Dwayne, thank you for tuning into these. I really appreciate seeing you every single day. You're very loyal on these, Dwayne. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. How many times has an SEC team won every series? Jerry, that stat we got to dive back. That's some research. I'll do some research for you. Off the top of my head, no idea. I can't pretend to know things I don't. The Arkansas being 9-0, I do not know a time when a SEC team won every single baseball series. Maybe I can get that number for you later in the week. But there's been a lot of seasons, so who knows if we can dig that up for you. How you doing, Kyle and Kara from Nashville, Tennessee? Appreciate it. You're headed home, Kara, to Northwest Arkansas tomorrow morning. Get ready for some rain. Well, welcome home. When you come back here, welcome home. We'll love having you back here in Northwest Arkansas, but I know it's going to rain, so hopefully you can find some pockets of sunshine back for your home visit. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This was one of the more fun ones we've done. I think Sundays looks like the best day for everybody here. I know it was a big series. Let's just cue this up for everyone joining us. I see we have a ton of new people joining us as we're about to wrap up. But just to recap, for those who missed it, Arkansas winning against Tennessee 3-2 this afternoon. That allows them to take that series 2-1. They are now 9-0 in SEC play. Like I just mentioned, I do not know the last time a team was undefeated in every single conference series. But that is incredible on its own for the best, objectively, conference in college baseball. That is hard to do when you have teams like Tennessee was the number 4th ranked team in the nation. That was 100% capacity over there in Knoxville. Can you, Anthony saying, can you discuss KVD getting upset? Do you mean Dave Van Horn getting upset? I'm assuming, Anthony, you mean the little scuffle at the end between him and Vitello. That was just, I think, the tensions of the game carrying over. Every single one of these series was a 1-run game, right? It was very intense. Just watching it from home, it was an intense series. Obviously, the walk-off win the night before, those Tennessee players were going nuts. I'm sure the Arkansas players didn't like to see those celebrations. I know there was a lot of jawing back and forth. And I think it just kind of boiled over into the final moments there. Every game, like I said, being decided by 1 run is pretty incredible for a series that lived up to all the hype. So, Anthony, I just think, and Dave Van Horn said in his post-game press conference, and you can see this at 9:30 and right now on our website and on our Twitter, that he wanted to say first and foremost that Vitello is a great guy and a great coach. and just he kind of gave that little coach kind of answer. He says, I don't know if it was he knows what it was, but he said, for you guys, I'm not going to tell you if it was about recruiting or something else. He said, you can kind of figure that up on your own. I know our Andrew Epperson here in our newsroom said we're going to need a lip reader to hear what was said, but Vitello was wearing a mask, so I don't think we're ever going to know, and I don't think it's going to be discussed. Vitello said in his post-game press conference that it was, that was a heated emotion, and he probably overstepped saying something that it was not in paraphrasing here in terms of the game. So I'm sure that it's kind of going to be water under the bridge. That happens. These are competitors, whether they're players in the game or coaches in the game. These guys have a great relationship. And I said this earlier when we started this broadcast, and I'll say it again, that I did a story this week on Vitello, and you can look at it on our website, nwahomepage.com. Good Lord, I can't talk. I've been going straight for about 36 minutes, so forgive me. I should have some water around when I do these. But Vitello said he would not have been sitting in the seat he was if it wasn't for Dave Van Horn in Arkansas and his time spent with the Razorbacks as an assistant from 2014 to 2017. So he really paid homage to Dave Van Horn, saying that's a big reason why he got this coaching job and why he even was a candidate in the first place for Tennessee. So, Anthony, it might have been the heat of the moment, but I'm sure those guys, his relationship's stronger enough to that where it's just going to be, hey, it happened. We're going to let that go. We're cool type of thing. And that's what it seems like both those guys after their press conferences or after the game kind of stepped back and realized that, hey, that was just kind of emotions boiling over. They always say, right, give yourself 24 hours to process a decision because the heat of the moment emotions are always going to be a little more intense when you kind of dive back and say, hey, let's relive that, and 24 hours later, maybe state of minds will be a little different. And I think that's what we're already seeing 20 minutes after. Vanderbilt was the last time to win 9 consecutive SEC series. It hasn't been done, says Mike. Mike, thank you for tuning in, for telling us that. I was going to say I got to look that up. So, Mike, we'll double check that. But if you're right, that answers one. Thank you so much. That answers one question our viewers had. This is why I love when you guys are talking. Sometimes you'll just answer questions that you guys might know. I love it. Are we getting a big center for the men, or is it more positionless basketball? Kyle, there's some big centers out there right now from Illinois State, but he's a 6'10" guy from Serbia. I know he's been on the radar, but I don't know. They have some scholarship and some spots open, but I haven't heard any recruiting news. All we hear is just the rumors on social media, and then sometimes we'll get a knack. But our insider, Kevin McPherson's the guy to turn to for those, and we have a Hog Soup recruiting report coming out tonight that you're going to want to watch to check those out. Guys, 38 minutes. My jaw's getting a little tired, but we'll thank you guys so much. I want to tease these out as we're wrapping this up. Just to make sure to download our Hogville app. This is where you can find all these types of questions. When we have our Hog Soup recruiting report with Kevin McPherson, when we do our Arkansas football recruiting report with Otis Kirk, those are also going to be on our website tonight. So make sure to check those out when they are released. Those should answer a lot of your questions. Make sure to tune into our website, nwahomepage.com. Guys, this was the most viewers I've had since sitting at this desk doing these shows. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. We're going to do this every Sunday now. I've seen how many people have tuned in to do these weekend reports, or at least we'll try to get down here every Sunday to fill you guys in, because this seems like the best time to enjoy the weekend with you. As I'm going to start my weekend, my Sundays are my Fridays, so I'm going to head out of here, and I'll be watching a lot more Arkansas news. I know if you're missing anything from this and you're just tuning in, Gary, no, thank you, man. I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate the support. If you're just tuning in, you're missing everything, you can relive this once it gets posted. Once I stop the stream, this video gets re-ingested into Facebook, and you can rewatch the whole thing. I know it's long, but if you also miss stuff, 10 o'clock on your shows on NBC, KNWA, and KARC are going to be where you can see the Pig Trail reports, and then 9's on Fox. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. This was very fun. Big series for Arkansas. Big win over Tennessee to take the series. Much more coming up with Florida, Baum-Walker at full capacity. It's going to be a fun week for Arkansas sports, and I can't wait to recap with you guys again. I'll be back on here on Wednesday. I'm going to be right back in this chair, and we're going to talk all about it. But for now, everyone, enjoy the last moments of your weekend, or if you're like me, enjoy the weekend coming up if you don't have the standard Monday through Friday work week. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks for watching this Pig Trail Nation report.